Hello. In this video, we're going to be converting fractions from mixed numbers into improper fractions. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, a mixed number is something like what we see here, where you have an integer followed by another fraction. This effectively just means 3 plus 2/5. And if you want to, you could literally just do this and see what you get. Because 3 is just 3 over 1 plus 2 over 5. So you already know how to add fractions. You need a common denominator. Well, that common denominator is 5. So I'm going to make this multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 5. So 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5. And then 2/5 is just 2/5, and then just add straight across. 15 plus 2 is 17. Keep the denominator the same. 5 and 5 is just, well, 5. So that gives you 17/5. This is the long way of doing things. There's no reason to do this. So I'm just going to erase all this because this isn't going to help us any. Well, it could help you some, but it's tedious and there's no reason to do this. Okay, so what we're going to do instead of basically not doing what you should do is we're going to take this 3 and 2/5, and I'm going to do this in a very quick way. I'm going to take this whole number, multiply by the denominator. 3 times 5 is 15. And then I'm going to add that answer to the numerator. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then add 2 to that is 17, and keep the denominator the same. Oh, look, it's the same answer. It's just a quicker way of doing things. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, so it gives you 17/5. Notice that this is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Now let's look at 316 and a half. We can convert this into an improper fraction very easily. To do this, 316 times 2, well, you just have to double everything here, so that gives you 632. 632 plus 1 is 633. So that's 633 divided by 2. Okay. Now, let's look at 17 and 3/4. Again, 17 times 4. Well, if you need to, yes, you can use a calculator, but it's not that hard to do 17 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So that's 68 plus 3 gives me 71, and keep the denominator the same. There you go. This is how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. I do, however, want to talk about how we go in the reverse direction if we need to. So you can take that 17/5 originally, and you actually do the division. Now, a lot of people will just do this in their head, but if you need to, just do it long division. 5 goes into 17 how many times? 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract, that gives us 2. Notice that 2 is less than 5, good. So the number up here is your integer, it's your whole number. This 2 is your remainder, so it's your numerator, and your divisor always stays your divisor, so the denominator is always 5 in this case. So 17/5 can be converted into a mixed number as 3 and 2/5. The same thing with the 633 divided by 2. Well, a lot of people wonder about this. This isn't that hard to do. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 divided by 2 is, 1. But notice that when you multiply by 2, 2 times 1 is 2, so 3 minus 2 is 1. So think of 13 for the last one. So 13 divided by 2 is 6. Now if you're not following what I'm doing, I'm just doing 633 and I'm dividing by 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. No remainder, bring down the 3. 2 goes into 3 once. 2, subtract 1, bring down the 3. 2 goes into 13 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. Subtract. There we go. So it's 316. Now 1 is your remainder and 2 was your divisor. Therefore, 633 over 2 can be converted to 316 and a half. Also 17 and 3/4. Well, that's 71 over 4, and that can again be converted back into the 17 and 3/4 by just doing the 71 dividing by 4. How many times does 4 go into 7? Well, that's just once. Subtract gives me 3, bring down the 1. How many times does 4 go into 31? That would be 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract gives us 3. Notice 3 is less than 4. That means it's the remainder. So the 17 is the whole number. And 3 divided by your divisor of 4. There you go. And this is how to go from a mixed number into an improper fraction. And this is how to go from an improper fraction back into a mixed number. Alrighty, well, have fun.